parents use screen time as a babysitter, there should absolutely be no screen time. Parents know subconsciously that it is bad for their child, but they still do it because it is so convenient and it's right there, it's available. The harm that it is doing for the child's brain is far more than just, oh, okay, it is bad, I've heard of it. No, it is a direct, tangible harm.
Yes.
Speech delay, cognitive function delay,
Yeah.
lethargy, executive function issues. All of these issues are stemming directly from screen time.
On a parenting podcast with Reena Chopra at Saar Holistic Wellness, today we have a very special guest, Raghav, who is the founder and CEO of Raising Superstars, a global early childhood development platform redefining learning in the first 6 years. Founded in 2020, today Superstars has 1.8 plus million families across 150 countries. Welcome, Raghav. We are very glad to have you on Parenting Podcast with Reena Chopra at Saar Holistic Wellness. Hi, Raghav, and thank you so much for being on the show, Saar Holistic Wellness, as a parenting podcast with Reena Chopra, because I know you're keeping really busy, but taking out time means a lot. Thank you so much.
No, no, thank you so much for actually inviting me. Yeah, of course, my pleasure to be on the podcast.
So, thank you, Raghav. And my first question to you is you are a father and you are an
Yeah.
expert. You are a founder of Raising Superstars. So, how did that journey happen and why did you actually start it?
Okay, so that's a little bit of a long story,
Okay.
but I think the if I have to tell you in a shortened manner, the reason it I started is because I realized at some point in my life that early learning is extremely critical to how our skills and foundational abilities develop. So that was one of the learnings that I had very later on in life. And and that was also partly because I was surrounded by a lot of smart kids, and I just had to like work a lot. Like I had to put in so much, so many hours of effort to get to where some of my peers in school and college could do it so easily. And at some point, I realized, okay, actually, it's because of foundational skills that you develop very early on. So when I I remember that, thinking that if I become a father, when I become a father at some point in my life, I would want my child to have all the opportunities. Now that I know this, that early learning is important. So that was the first part of it, that I wanted to do something for my child. But the reason it became sort of a company and my personal mission, professional mission, to do something about it is because uh, COVID happened. And at that time, I was running another company, and because of COVID, that company had to shut down. And then me and my wife, we started helping other parents just because we had been doing stuff with our own kid. And then because of COVID, I think a lot of other parents started asking us, okay, tell us, help us as well. And then we realized that, okay, maybe there's something here that a lot of parents need help with, and maybe we can try to help them out. So it started with that, and then it became a company. It didn't really start off as an idea to make it a company, because we were just doing it for ourselves and our close friends. And then at some point we were like, okay, I think we can't handle it all on our own, so we have to like hire people and take an office, etc. And then when you start doing that, then you
Well,
have to like register a company, pay
yeah,
GST and all that.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Very, very
so yeah, that
wonderful, Raghav. So we are in a scenario and an era where both parents are working. Mother is also working
Hmm.
and father is also working. So what do you
Hmm.
think as a father and an expert, like why the foundation years are important? What happened in those first 6 years? What is
Hmm.
happening to the brain? What is happening to the cognitive development? What is happening to the EQ, IQ level? And how is it going to impact in the in adulthood or maybe in teens? How is it going to impact?
Yeah. So there is a science element to it, and there is also like a sort of practical element to it, right? So the scientific element is that of course a baby's brain is born like with a clean slate with neurons that are not connected with each other. And because the baby's brain comes out of the womb and is just like bombarded across all of the five senses, the brain cells get activated. It's almost like a child going to Disneyland for the first time, right? Because they're like just overwhelmed with how much sensory information they get. So the brain cells start sort of firing, they start forming neural pathways. And the density of neural pathways is the maximum in the first few years, after which the neural pathways are actually cut off by synaptic pruning, right? So that's the first thing, which is biology tells us that the neural pathways are actually being formed in the first few years. And if those foundational skills are not developed in that time, then it becomes much more difficult to develop in the later years. In fact, there have been research studies which has shown that a baby born with proper eyesight was left behind in a dark room for some reason, for some circumstance, and for the first few years, and that child later on just could not see because the neural pathways for vision did not develop, even though at birth the baby was perfectly had perfectly good eyes, right? So that's the one aspect to it. The second aspect to it is also, why did it happen? Like I always try to connect stories about how humans have evolved, why are we here, and those kind
Very
of
good question.
larger questions, right? And if you think about it, like as human beings, as the human species, we are the smartest, like most dominant species on the
Yeah.
planet, but our babies are super vulnerable and weak,
Yeah.
right? So as a species, we should not even be surviving, because if you see like a elephant calf is born and starts walking.
Yeah.
If you see a frog, for example, a frog lays so many eggs that some of the frogs will survive.
Yeah.
So every species has their own mechanism for coping up and surviving in the world. Now we are the most dominant species, but our baby is completely helpless. Can't speak, can't talk, can't lift their head, can't do anything. So this means that if we have to survive as a species, then by nature, that baby must be super fast learner, right? Because that baby has to very, very fast, it has to become capable of taking care of itself. Otherwise, this whole species does not survive.
Yeah.
And so nature has evolved and made us in that manner that the first few years become important. The third thing is practically what it does, right? So practically, the first few years, what it does is that when a child starts acquiring skills, then it leads to what I call the circle of excellence, right? So the way that I describe it is, for example, we say that if you give the right opportunities to a baby will start crawling early. So baby will start belly crawling at 3 months. At 8 9 months of age, the baby will start walking. And baby will start running early, jumping early, and so on. Now the question is, so what? So what if the baby started crawling early, right? So the baby will anyway walk. So why do you want to rush these things? We don't want to rush these things. But what happens is that when a baby starts crawling early, they start walking early, they develop their strength and stamina, they start running early, they start jumping early. And now at that time, the parent, the society, the teachers, they start realizing, oh, okay, this child is physically superior or physically in a better health, right? So that the everybody around the child starts giving the child more opportunities in that field. Now,
Absolutely.
when the child gets more opportunities, the child feels more confidence that, oh, okay, maybe I'm good. That's why I'm getting more opportunities. More opportunities being extra class, extra being selected for team, getting the first opportunity to maybe play bat or whatever, right? They get more confidence. They get more practice because there's more opportunities. More practice means that they get better. When they get better, again, more confidence, right? So it's a circle that
Vicious
keeps
circle. Yeah. One
and
after
it
another.
yeah and it that circle keeps rotating faster and moving forward, right? And that is what is starts churning. So a child who starts doing well in math early on, what happens is that, oh, they think that math is my superpower.
Yes.
Maybe I should continue to do math more. So practically that element is also there. So what I'm trying to say is that a child is capable of learning very fast early on. A child wants to learn very fast early on. They love to learn, and because these things happen, it creates sort of a momentum that carries into later years as well.
So that means it is very important for parents to concentrate on early years, because then late in the later years you have a FOMO effect, like fear of missing out. Why my child is not performing the way other child is performing? Why my child is not getting the opportunities the way other children are getting? So rather than just focusing on academics, let's focus on the holistic development of the child, and then to make them capable of academically, sports wise, and everything personality wise ready for the upcoming years. So that's fantastic. I think I was not able to relate it earlier, but as you're explaining with such good examples, and it making lot of sense now. But my second question to you is, Raghav, nowadays there is a lot of trending word hashtag gentle parenting. So
Hmm.
people find there is one set of parents which says gentle parenting is weak. हम भी तो मार खा खा
Hmm.
के बड़े हुए हैं, तो क्या हो गया?
Hmm.
मेरे सेशन में भी बहुत लोग आते हैं। सो हम भी तो
Hmm.
मार खा खा के बड़े हुए हैं, तो क्या हो गया अगर हमने
Hmm.
इसको एक दो चांटा लगा भी दिया, या इसको डांट दिया, या इसको सोशली ह्यूमिलिएट कर दिया? तो
Hmm.
जैसे मैं बहुत अच्छा सीईओ हूँ, प्लेस्ड हूँ, आई एम एन
Hmm.
आईटी गाय, he will also
Hmm.
figure it out. So what is
Hmm.
your opinion on it? Is gentle parenting weak, or is gentle parenting misunderstood?
Yeah, I mean, so uh, this is a very personal sort of a question in terms of every parent, every family has to figure out what is their balance, right? I am no one to give a gyan to someone to say कि आपको ऐसे करना चाहिए, आपको ऐसे नहीं
Just
करना
your
चाहिए,
point
सबका
of
अपना.
view. Yeah.
Yeah, and what we have to realize as parents is कि our actions will have an impact. That is what we have to realize, right? हर एक्शन का इम्पैक्ट होता है, and sometimes those impact last decades, not just like sometimes some few months or weeks. It can last decades. A lot of people, even you and I, if we have to think about it, we can pinpoint कि हमारे बचपन में ये हुआ था, and I still remember that
The
incident, right?
patterns.
and
Yeah.
some and sometimes it also leads to trauma. It sometimes leads to withdrawal behavior. So a lot of these things happen. Now in terms of gentle parenting, uh, now obviously, like, I am completely against any kind of violence, right? Like whether it's physical violence, verbal violence, any kind of violence, right? But uh, we our if we create the right environment, then the child will sort of learn in that environment. What I'm trying to say is, yesterday I was giving an example to somebody that suppose there is a child whose parents are only happy when the child performs or wins. For
Yeah.
example, आप रेस कर रहे हो, and the आप रेस में फर्स्ट आए, ठीक है, पेरेंट्स आर वाओ यू आर अमेजिंग, यू आर सच अ गुड, यू डांस सो फास्ट, ब्ला ब्ला. आप सेकंड आए, हाँ, good job, but you could have you could have come first, right? So now the parent is not that happy because the child came second. Same thing, आप maths exam कर रहे हो, आपने 100 on 100 लाए, excellent, great job, but आप 98 लेके आए. Oh, okay, कोई बात नहीं. Now what कोई बात नहीं? You have got 98, but कोई बात नहीं, it's okay next time, right? Now, how do we change this, right? When this thing happens, what the child is learning is that only if I win or if I succeed is when I'm getting appreciated.
Did it.
So
Yeah.
what the child is learning is that I should not engage in activities where the probability of success is low.
Yeah.
So the child is becoming less of a risk taker, and this will translate into things like कि अच्छा मुझे स्लाइड से नीचे उतरना है, तो आई डोंट नो वेदर आई बी स्कैर्ड, ऊपर जाके डर लगेगा क्या मुझे, तो मैं ट्राई नहीं करता हूँ. Let me not try, because if I go there and if I get scared, then my parents will not be happy because I have not succeeded, right? And that's like the dangerous thing. Now, how do we come out of this? Now the solution to come out of this is that we as parents have to prioritize on effort,
Yeah.
right? So we have to say कि we will put all our efforts, all our energy, as much as is required for any given task, and the outcome doesn't matter at all, which means that before you start a race or before you start a math exam or any other thing, right, you have already you already know whether you have won or not, क्योंकि आपने एफर्ट तो पहले लगाया है. तो आप रेस स्टार्ट करने के पहले ही आप जीत चुके हो, क्योंकि
Yeah.
आपने एफर्ट लगाया या नहीं लगाया आपको मालूम है. So the outcome is immaterial, because if you are Sachin Tendulkar or Virat Kohli, you can still get out on duck. But that doesn't mean that you're not a great batsman. That doesn't mean that you're not put in the effort. But if you have put in all the effort, आपने बहुत मेहनत किया है, then the outcome doesn't matter. These are things that the parent has to sort of enable in their environment. And yeah, so this is, I would say, this is part of the gentle parenting, because the whole aspect of pressure on outcomes, these kind of things are also in some way not gentle, right? But anyway, physical violence, verbal violence, silent treatment, all of those things would definitely cause a lot of trauma, and I'm very against that.
And does it impact the early stage development, brain development of the child?
Of course, of course. So it will impact, because, as I said, all of these behaviors are sort of um, either getting the child trained to do more of or less of whatever they are exhibiting, right? So should I try harder or should I give up? Should I even do this? Is it worth my time? Should I listen to my parent or should I not? Should I lie to my parent, right? So these things are not, these things cannot be sort of measured in terms of कि मैं तो आईटी में हूँ, मेरे को अच्छे सैलरी मिल रहे हैं and मेरा लाइफ अच्छा है, right? Because the
Yeah,
first thing is that you have to be a good human being. Money
absolutely.
is just one aspect of everything that you will do in your
Mentally, you
life.
need to be at peace and you should be able to make decisions when you are at risk or when you are in the real life situation. That's more important, and that will be defined by how you have been raised in first fundamental years. And those 6 years
Correct.
are very, very important in every human being's life. So I want to know
Yeah.
more about Raghav, like as a founder of Raising Superstars, you have amazing products wherein you have been teaching around how to implement, what to implement, when to implement strategies to make sure that the child is getting raised in his or her optimum potential. So can you give us an idea around your products and which one is your favorite, like the best seller?
Yeah, so we have basically we have two types of programs. One is DIY, which is do it yourself, and one is done for you. So let me actually give you a very quick overview. So our programs are for uh, babies and toddlers and young kids from 0 years to 6 years of age, right? And all our programs are designed around our proprietary Prodigy framework system, which is based on the theory of multiple intelligences. We cover all sorts of holistic skills in a child. And the way it works is the DIY programs, the way it works is that we tell the parent over a video what kind of activities you should be doing with your child over this week, right? And it takes about 5 minutes a day, but you do all different kinds of activities to develop language skills, communication skills, problem solving, like a strong memory, even things like reading, math, physical skills, creative thinking, all sorts of skills, right? So yeah, so that's how it works. There is absolutely no screen time. We don't do any testing or benchmarking of the kids. So there's no pressure, and it's super easy, fun, and convenient because only a few minutes a day, right? So that's the DIY product. And now we have launched a new product, which is DFI, done for you. So a lot of parents would come to us and say, I really want to do it, but I'm busy. I'm a working mother, or I don't have time. I don't think I'll be able to learn the activity and do it, even though it's so simple. It's like barely anything, but they have this sort of a mindset that,
Yeah.
mental blockage that I'll not be able to do it. Can you do it for me? So finally, we said, okay, we'll do it for you.
For you,
So
yeah.
we have a team of trained coaches who are trained on our curriculum, who we
Okay.
send to the parents' house, and they just do all of the activities with the child at their house.
Amazing.
Uh,
I think that's first time in
so
India. I've never heard about this kind of a program before.
yeah, so we started it it's the first time, and we started it in Bombay. We've now live in Bombay, and we are
Amazing.
soon going to expand to other cities as well. But literally, we give you the box of materials, and our coach will come and do the activities for you. And it's not a random set of activities, right? Because it's still aligned to our curriculum. So every session has a fixed curriculum with the flexibility of how the child is engaging. So they follow the curriculum, so it is progressive, and
But I think
we
that's very
meet certain goals.
impactful for busy and working parents because when we want to hire somebody, especially in India, to take care of our child, they are either not
Mm,
speaking our language or they do
mm,
not come from very well-to-do education or well-to-do families. But
mm.
imagine somebody who's well trained, does know the
Yeah,
product, does know your language, is coming to your home to train
yeah,
your child. How amazing it is. I can
yeah.
relate. It was not there like
So
when I was raising my child, it was not there.
yeah, so this is a recent thing that we have launched, and usually I like to not use the word train the child, but it's more like provide the child with opportunities,
Yeah,
and then it's up to the child
right.
to shine with their own
Yeah.
potential. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's amazing, Raghav. Congratulations to you and your organization for initiating this. That's wonderful. I really like the idea myself.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. As a mother and as a psychologist, both.
Thank you so much.
Since you are a specialized with 0 to 6 years programs, an
Hmm.
expert,
Hmm.
you have made your appearances and you have raised funding in Shark Tank. You have achieved success in all the platforms you have visited. So I want to know from you, like, um, what are the three main things parents with toddlers should ignore while raising superstars?
Should ignore.
Yeah, must
Should
ignore.
ignore.
Yeah,
So should not do, right?
not do.
Yeah. So the first is, of course, screen time, right? There should absolutely be no screen time. Now, a lot of parents use screen time as a babysitter, and we all know that. But and parents know subconsciously that it is bad for their child, but they still do it because it is so convenient and it's right there, it's available. But the harm that it is doing, and I think you know it more than me, the harm that it is doing for the child's brain is far more than just, oh, okay, it is bad, I've heard of it. No, it is a direct, tangible harm.
Yes,
Speech delay, cognitive function delay,
yeah,
lethargy, executive function issues. All of these issues are stemming directly from screen time. And then kids are these days are mindlessly scrolling, right? So that is something to avoid. There is some benefit of particular kind of screen time, but that happens much later in life, not in the early years, not in the first 6 years, and you can always do that later. Nobody needs to learn screen time. They will learn it at any age, right?
yeah,
So that's the first thing. The second thing that I would say, again, extremely important in today's world, because we both of us we grew up in a different world. The
yeah,
world has completely changed, right? The second thing is we do not want our kids to have the pressure of comparisons,
yeah,
right? The reason for that is that when we were growing up, the opportunities were limited. The
yeah,
opportunities truly in India, especially the opportunities was in science, right?
yes,
Nobody cared about arts, nobody cared about other subjects. It was in science and maybe a little bit in the stock market.
Yeah.
But otherwise, there were no opportunities. So everybody was like, and there was such a large middle class population trapped in that middle class trap, wanting to get out. They were just like, okay, study, go to IIT or become a doctor, or, that was it. But today's world has changed, especially with AI, especially with globalization, especially with the way
Yes.
that India is progressing as well. There are opportunities everywhere. And now even the engineers and doctors have to think outside the box. They have to do something different. They have to be creative. They have to have all round skills within themselves. Otherwise, they will become irrelevant,
Yes.
right? If you put pressure on your child to compare them, benchmark them, and put pressure on them for performance, then it will limit their creativity and their ability to step outside their comfort zone, which we don't want. So that is the second, and I've explained this earlier in the show as well. So that's the second thing. First, screen time. Second is, do not put any pressure. What is the third thing that we want to avoid? Let's see. Um, yeah, the third thing is, the we want to sort of give children an all-round exposure. Now, what do I mean by this? Is a lot of parents, in their own sort of best intelligence, best judgment, they start sort of pigeonholing the child very early on in a specific domain. कि यार, my child is good in art, अब art ही करेगा. My child is good in swimming, अब swimming ही करेगा. My child is, cricket खेलेगा. Now my child will be a cricketer, and they are putting so much energy into that one domain. इससे दो प्रॉब्लम है. First, actually, there are three problems in this. One is कि what if that field doesn't work out, right? That's the first thing. The second is that the child is not getting exposure to other things where you need that exposure and capability across skill sets to be good even in that one thing. But the third thing, very, very important, which a lot of parents miss, is that if a child starts too early to start specializing in one thing, they burn out.
They do.
By the time they reach the age where they are actually supposed to perform and do well, they burn out. They've lost that fun. They've lost that joy in
Very
sort
true.
of for themselves, and they before they can get any sort of benefits, payoff out of it, they're burnt out. So
Absolutely.
we want the childhood to be joyful. We want the children to explore everything, build their skills, be happy, and then later on, after a while, after 8, 9 years, 10 years of age, you start. Okay, this is what I'm really good at. I'm towards it. I request parents to not sort of uh, bottle their
Pigeonhole.
child to a
Yeah.
specific. Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that's amazing. I got lot of insights because when I'm not only taking one-on-one counseling with mothers, I also take one-on-one counseling with teens. And that becomes
Hmm.
very difficult when they say that I am really disconnected with my parents and I do
Yeah.
not want to listen to them, and they say it in the face that I just don't want to. And then
Hmm.
it becomes when you when we try to join those dots, and then we figure out like there was a pressure, there was an environment, there were so many things that, and that's the reason the child is talking like that. So apart from that,
Yeah.
Raghav, I am done with my questions. Is there anything specific that you wish me to ask you so that I can do that?
Um, no, not really. But I would like to say this, since we are talking like as a conversation, right? Lot of there's like this misbelief that without pressure, a, a child will not succeed. And I want to sort of challenge that belief itself, right? You don't need pressure to succeed. You need the right environment, right mindset, and you need, very importantly, the child to be self-motivated. If the child is not self-motivated, you can put pressure on them, you can, force them into doing something. But after a while, after they are in their middle teens or late teens, they are not going to listen to
They
the
bounce
parent
back, they
anyway.
rebel. Yeah,
So they will rebel, they will actively sort of shun,
they
stay
do.
away from the
They
things
do.
that the parent wanted them to do, unless they enjoy it. So we as parents, we have to create that environment where the child feels self-motivated to
Absolutely.
shine in whatever they are good at.
Absolutely.
That's I think that's not an easy thing to do either. It's easier said than done, but it can be done. And there are very few simple strategies that you have to follow consistently. If you do that, you can create that environment where the child is self-motivated. They want to do it. Not because you want. Sometimes the child wants to do it more than you want them to do it
Absolutely.
also.
Absolutely. I
But
think you
that's what
and
we want to do.
yeah, I think you have nailed down the entire podcast with so many insights, so many stories, so many examples, and I am sure all parents must watch it because it's important to be mindful because there is so much noise around you around parenting,
Hmm.
um,
Yeah.
around the development, brain development, and I see unfortunately there's a lot of gyan happening on WhatsApp universities and other stuff. I think people should move on and
Yeah.
recognize first of all the authentic platforms like your
Hmm.
platform or certified people to get through it. Parenting is not a cakewalk anymore. Earlier, you had
Hmm.
actually had a village to raise a child. Now you don't have that. You don't have
Exactly.
that support. You don't
Exactly.
have that help. And the
Yeah.
world has evolved so much. Like if you're not seeking proper help, you will actually get into FOMO effect. Like, I am missing out something.
Hmm.
What is happening to my child? Why am not able to deliver the best? Why my child is not perfect? So,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Raghav. I really appreciate your time, energy, efforts, everything. And I'm really impressed with the products that you have launched. And the latest one is like mind blowing. And I wish you all the best for all the work that you are doing in the area of raising actually the superstars. So thank you so much, and would love to be in touch one more time, maybe on some live chat or something wherein we can immediately ask for questions and parents can join that. So that is all.
Absolutely.
Anything that you wish to
Thank.
add or
No,
ask?
no. Thank you so much. This was a fun chat, and I think very interesting questions as well.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I got to interact with another expert on these topics. Usually, I'm interacting a lot with parents, and parents are asking me
Okay.
questions, and
Okay.
so this was a little bit more in depth and intense as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, thanks for having me
Great.
on
I
the
think
podcast,
I
Josh.
think you should we should more about thinking about like me collaborating with you and you collaborating with me, wherein I want expert advices and wherein the
Hmm.
psychology things comes into the picture and then you can think about.
Sure.
But I'll figure
Yeah,
out
yeah, we can.
whatever.
I'm always open to collaboration. There's
Yeah,
no problem at all.
let's see how it goes. And but thank you from the bottom of my heart for showing up. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much. Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Hello, parents. If you find our podcast relatable, educational, then do subscribe to our channel. In the comment box, write your parenting challenges. We'll try to address them one by one. And never forget to share it with amazing parents like you. Because remember, by learning together, we can raise kind, confident, and connected children for happy families and happy nations.